Amazing, guys. So, first of all, I would like to give some background to the whole topic. And actually, yes, Christina, you can go to the next slide as it was there. Uh, because this graph, by the way, it was generated by OpenAI, and it's showing the amount of data which is being processed in last roughly 15 years, right? And what is interesting on that is that if you consider that in 1917, roughly, there was the introduction of the relational database. So basically, the amount of the data started to really grow. Then you see 2000 websites, the internet era, and then mobile, right, in 2010 roughly, even though the growth is exponential, right, or even more of exponential. And there are actual estimations, not by the GenAI, but actually some others like Gartner and IDC and Finestra, etc., that actually in the world there will be roughly zettabyte of data, which, just for you to know, because I didn't know what is a zettabyte, right, is a billion of terabytes, right, which is really amazing. So coming to the first question to you, Andrews, if you would choose where will be the biggest impact, right, in next 10 years, considering actually this exponential growth, and if you would think about several areas, and you can add yours, of course, like, for example, the capacity of the data centers, the cloud, and the electricity to that, because this is one of the big topic in US, for example, or the autonomous vehicles and the impact to the human society, basically, for example, or financial services, would you would choose actually out of that?
From that one, I would choose autonomous vehicles, because that would just free up people for a lot of things to do. Because now we all see after COVID, right? During COVID, we got used to not traveling to work, that now people are quitting if people, if employers are introducing back to work programs, literally quitting. What do you mean I need to come back to work? What do you need? So, for example, in Vilnius, where our European headquarters are, 400 people are employed in Vilnius specifically, right, across all the companies, Revolut companies. So 400 people could go to work if they decide. We have fully transparent, like fully flexible, 100%. You can choose whatever you work. But then in the office, we have 70 desks, but only 7 people maybe come on average every day. So I would say, coming back to your question, we don't want to we only have 20 minutes, otherwise Bjorn will cut our fingers until the year. Is that autonomous vehicles, by far, I think, with robotaxis, promises from Elon Musk and etc. It's like it could just be enormous. You have all these people stranded in the traffic jams, etc., really focusing on not doing something, not at least playing Candy Crush or doing something with Gen AI. That's another thing, collaboration with the Gen AI and what it can achieve. And now, since Monday, was launched on OpenAI, and now we already see so many kind of interesting applications in tutoring. The next version of seeing and listening and talking back to the users. Tutoring, when they can tutor. Imagine you will free yourself after tutoring your kids. Such waste of time. To sit with your kid for 2 hours and over like 3 grade maths and try to tutor him. He would just sit there with his Gen AI model, and that's it. You may even forget about your kids, which would be amazing. For a while, for a day or two. Where is this guy? Where is this guy? Right? So now look. So, but then again, for me personally, it's autonomous whatever, but autonomous vehicles or autonomous robots. Now, and again, FT wrote yesterday that, oh my God, they will just replace people. Which was just that's the objective, I guess, of that trend of movement. But talking about financial services, that's another area. That's just incredible. It's not only customer support and FinCrime, which is amazing, just by employing AI, if you like, or our own, LLMs, which we developed over the last 6-7 years, where we were able to stop $500 million or euros worth of fraudulent transactions proactively just last year, proactively. You didn't need to spot something and call your bank. It's proactive. Sometimes it's false positive, which is still fine. People can live with that. It's frozen. The account is, the card is frozen. I unfreeze it. That's fine, but it's proactive. So there's very, very kind of robo advisory, robo investment. It's amazing, amazing movement. But what is happening still next? Going out of this me and the chat bot the relationship to the truly independent assistant type of, PA, personal assistant, executive assistant type of thing, where when you have that PA or EA, he or she would do things without you asking to do things. This is another thing. I would just love for the AI, in financial world, to just look at my accounts. I don't have many, just Revolut, but just look at my Revolut, see the money that I have, and just make the most out of the money. I literally don't care. I don't know who else of you don't want to get the most out of your money. Maybe some of you say, oh, no, actually, I just want the least out of my money. I have a 1,000, I only want 800. It could be obviously charities, etc. But in general, all of us want the best from our money. So why not to develop this system? It's definitely going to come. I don't want to say that it's from Revolut or somewhere where it will just ask for you. Maybe Europe will be the last one to come, because all the consents and GDPRs and all that bullshit. But it will be, of course, initially it will be, oh, do you give me consent to kind of trade something, etc., etc. Like still kind of some sort of thing. But in the end, at least for me, I'm still comfortable just take. There's like, okay, I can cap the money, but then it's just do whatever you want. Just do. My habits. My calendar. What I spend. My everything. That's the promise. Because why all this data? It's about us. Why not then allow these guys, whatever, machines, to make the decisions for us, the best decisions for us, which are possible. And this is what I'm looking forward tremendously. Not the ChatGPT where I need to ask, what do I answer to Yuri's question, on this and that, ChatGPT for, but then it's actually producing. And in the end, in a year or two or three, there's going to be, if you come here, there was going to be three OpenAI faces talking to each other, and it's going to be much more interesting than us.
Okay, great. Love it, actually.
That's it. Turn my mic off.
Viren, coming to you, right? Because you are security expert. Yes. So, are you afraid more of the AI itself, like autonomous, or the human behavior supported by AI? Right? Simply the cybercrime you can imagine. All of those calls and Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. Really glad to be here in the middle of my vacation. Had to take special permission from my wife for 2 days. You're absolutely right. Gen AI, first of all, I would say that it has reached a level of importance, good or bad, something like penicillin in the last century. But penicillin was all about good. In Gen AI, we have to consider the good and the bad as well. Now, talking about security, it's like, I will give you an analogy of an Indian dessert. Indian desserts have a lot of butter and a lot of sugar. Eating only butter is good. Eating only sugar, if you're a runner, is good. But combining two is a deadly combination. It's a potent combination. And that's what happens when you combine Gen AI with cyber risk. But at the same time, as much as bad can happen, we also have to be optimistic of what good can happen through Gen AI. But one thing I want to clear at the outset is, and that's something I think a professor called Dr. John Gittridge from Oregon University clearly said, what's wrong with LLMs? Because that's the fundamental nature of LLMs, Gen AI. And he said, there are two things, right? Gen AI is based on volumes of knowledge that has been fed into foundational models. And that has got two problems. He calls it epistemic memory, which is systemic memory. So it only if you ask him a question that it doesn't know about, It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't simply shut up and say, I don't know. It creates answers. And that's a problem,
I'm
right?
doing the
Because
same actually sometimes, yes.
yeah, it creates problem. And that is the first problem. The second problem is these are knowledge sources. These are not real knowledge sources. These are statistical models of knowledge sources. And because of that, there are things in the world that are truly random sometimes. You can't explain. They're truly random. But it doesn't know this. Because this is statistical, it tries to derive inference and always find some. So it generates facts. So if we know these two things, right, about how to manage these, today I find Jena has like, who doesn't want to make a lot of money? Like Robo Advisory is kind of a good app that look at all my portfolio and tell me how to make more money. It can know all my mistakes from the past and generate more. But at the same time, we have to worry, which is that foundational model that allows you to do this? Does it have an implicit bias towards certain financial products? Maybe. And that we need to worry about. So there is a problem with GenAI, but we need to focus on the good part.
Yeah, to look, so it's we all talk about Gen AI, and myself including, right? That we have some sort of expert. I remember last year, I think after one of those World Bank Forum, maybe in Prague, it was a big one, right, Christina? Oh, it was a different one, yeah. So I flew back with the Polish banks, one of the Polish bank CEO on the plane. We sat down, and OpenAI was just released, like a few months ago, et cetera, et cetera. And he was so adamant and so kind of determined. They said, when I land, I will make everyone at the company to have a certificate in AI, to just do this. There's so many courses now, free courses, Google's, etc., where you can just go and get the sense, get the basics, get at least the basics of how to write a good prompt, because it's all about the prompt at the moment. Before it gets into next stage where it's like the prompt writes continuously for itself, right? The AI writes it for itself. But back to that guy, he said everyone has to be. If they don't have that certificate, they will be fired. I mean, I didn't follow up whether he will do that, because everyone is talking. Everyone is talking. Oh, it's changing the world. It's like oh, it's going to be so much threat in that area or that area. But in many, many cases, if you still look at your marketing department, some of you guys, you will still find some of the designers trying to do templates with their hand, or some sort of marketing material with their hand, not utilizing, or like, oh, I just bumped into one last week, oh man, I really cannot meet. I have like three posters to make until end of the week, and it was like Tuesday. From which planet are you from? I'm serious. But what I want to say is a lot of talking happening, but still not a lot of people like to talk. And this is the problem both for the creators of OpenAI or Google's etc., for the products, Microsoft's, that we touch every day, so they have it to make it seamless. Because people, especially the older, like myself, older people, more senior people, more smart people, they are very lazy to learn new things. That's another thing, how to incorporate that. It's not like, oh, I'm intentionally going to learn about AI. Everything changes every day, right? So you cannot catch up. So they have to make it simple, right? So it has to be part of the book. But at the same time, people have to at least, use it. So a lot of talking. Just my observation, maybe too long observation, that people are, yes, they see all the data, they kind of see all the buzz, but in reality, they are not actually using. And in our case, we have a team of I cannot call them AI team, but as very smart data scientists and machine learning scientists, 5 people running across all departments and seeing how they can utilize AI. How they can apply AI for the department's goals, right? Out of 45 departments, maybe 5 departments only that could still benefit, right? So it's still a lot of work to do. Everyone is talking, but whereas majority of the things that can happen is all this. At least start doing that. And we haven't even touched the nuances of European AI versus Chinese AI versus US AIs, right? As the saying is, US innovates, China copies, and Europe regulates. That's another kind of.
I like Andrea's optimism, right?
Last 5 minutes, I'm sorry, but actually.
Yeah. No, it's
We
quite
can
good.
continue during the lunch.
But he mentioned about forget your kids and why do you need to teach your kids? But sometimes in education, it loses the importance of critical learning, right? Critical thinking, learning on your own rather than using GenAI to learn everything. Sometimes I'm afraid that students may misuse GenAI capabilities to just to write for the papers and all that without doing some critical thinking or
We all will
having
become
to
TikTok creators, TikTok creators.
very
I'm not
interesting.
joking even. I'm so like, we are doomed, guys. We are doomed. I see my son, 9 years son, and I cannot just imagine how can he learn? How he will learn things? How he will not drive cars because it's going to be obsolete, and then he will say, "Oh, Dad, you drove this with the wheel? You drove it yourself. It's so unsafe, right? You could kill people back then. It was so irresponsible for you, man. You
Like,
know."
we were just talking, right? I was saying about we want to drive manual cars. I'm not comfortable with all this intelligent cruise control. But
It's going to be illegal. It's going to be illegal.
But one thing that concerns me, and a paper that I read just 2 days ago was about creativity. No one thought that GenAI could be very creative like humans, but there was a test done. They found that GenAI was more creative than humans in divergent thinking, and that I doubt whether that is really true, because I can't imagine a GenAI writing a poetry, right, like a greatest poet. But if that happens, then what's the point? That is my issue.
We are just doomed. Anyway.
Okay, so thank you a lot, guys. I believe we are at the end. So amazing, actually, amazing.
Okay.
So it's amazing. Do you want to continue?
Yeah. So I'll I'll give you an example of one of the bad things that could have been avoided. We all heard about FTX fiasco, right, with Sam Bankman-Fried, and that is something that GenAI could have prevented if we had noticed the back door in that. So transferring billions of dollars to a sister company, right? So that is one example we can. I find a lot of examples of Copilot. I'm brilliant. I'm sold on Copilot, uh, using to find vulnerabilities in software, which is a huge problem today and which will continue to happen. So GenAI can be used to write better code, but then we also have to be aware that the hackers will also use that to find problems in the code. So it's always going to be a rat race in that sense. So there are always positive and negative spin on the GenAI capabilities. But it won't solve optimization problems. It won't solve a lot of operations research problems. So I think one has to be careful on what it can solve. I mean, we are until 2 months ago. Now I'm a pharmacy, so but 2 months ago we were using GenAI in the bank for reading invoices or doing meeting minutes. But one thought is, I don't want GenAI to do. I want GenAI to do my laundry and cook for me rather than give me a summary of a book. Summary of a book is sometimes good for factual knowledge in the offices, but I want to read a book and enjoy a book with a glass of wine. So those are the things. Sometimes people will want to read a lot of books and want to have summaries, and they will go to Jena and say, give me a summary of that in one page.
It could be the case where you say that, oh, the creativity will be lost, but I think we will be in the point where our creativity will be needed to be used for different things, for almost like, okay, let's be creative, what I want to do today, type of thing, maybe, in a case, because I see, for example, you go to Netflix, you go to, Spotify, and you just enter your prompt, what you want to see today. I want like 27-minute sci-fi movie, because I have 27 minutes left until the next meeting, whatever, where the actors are Brad Pitt, whatever. You choose a kind of, with a little bit of comedy, like Louis C.K. type of stand-up comedy. It ends in a bad, bloodbath like Tarantino, and then click play, and you have like amazing, like studio quality movie where you, in the end, it's like it's really, really nice. You just put it on the marketplace, and maybe others can look to that as well. Over time, everyone will create these Or then you have a neural link plugged into your brain, and actually you just open Netflix, and then it basically knows what you want to see. The same with Spotify. You know this anyway, I will find out the name, where you can just put a prompt and it creates a song for you. Right. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I can find the link for you guys, to try it out. The quality is amazing. I listened on a hi-fi system. It's super amazing. It's like I would listen to these guys and any day, jazz or like anything you like, and it's created in 1 second.
He has 27 minutes. I want to have the whole weekend and binge watch some Isaac Asimov.
You can use
for the whole
drugs
weekend.
actually for that.
No, I think the possibilities are endless, but I think we have to be conscious. I think what has happened is since November 2022, right? Since OpenAI first released ChatGPT, it has reached a level of they think that ChatGPT will solve world peace. That's not going to happen. But people are hype, the level of hype or the level of BS has exploded. And you want to use ChatGPT or GenAI for everything in life. It's not going to be the case.
Don't worry. You will regulate that. You will regulate that. So no worries for that, Viren. No worries.
I have several questions, and I believe maybe one of the questions, for example, for lunch, right, later on, would be if the GenAI will be generating the money autonomously, right? What it will do with the inflation, for example, right? What will be the value of the money actually, right? When it will be generated basically by the autonomous intelligence.
I think we didn't have enough time to speak on that, but medicine will be a important area to talk about for GenAI.
And to regulate.
So guys, thank you a lot. It was really amazing as always, and actually looking forward for the next topic.